What's up, guys? It is Tuesday, October 18th. It's 4:30 p.m. and this is going to be the newsletter. So this topic for this newsletter is going to be about the World Economic Forum, Fourth Industrial Revolution, and the Great Reset. And by understanding all three of these things, it's very fundamental into knowing where we're headed next. So I've been making videos now for about a year, and there's probably 1,000 videos on my YouTube, but a lot of them are unlisted. But I realized when I make it public, it acts like I had just posted it for the first time. But I made this video back November 19th, 2021. So for this, I'm gonna replay this video, get you guys caught up to date with these three topics, and then I'm gonna get into the world after the world after the pandemic and some juicy scenarios that I found from the Jewish Funders Network. I don't think I've seen anybody talk about this to this point, but I was doing some research and I found this and thought it was very interesting because they had wrote their scenarios down. I believe this was released like in 2019, 2020, but they gave the step-by-step scenarios and kind of how things would unfold all the way until 2023. So we're getting a glimpse into how next year might unfold, and we can look at 2021, 2022. Did it line up with what their scenarios had said? So I'm going to play this video, and then at the end of this, I'm going to go over the scenario processes and then the world after the pandemic and kind of what they predicted to come. So this was 2 years ago. So it's going to be very interesting. So try to stick through the whole thing all the way to the end so you can see kind of where we're at now with these new updates to this video right here. So I'll see you at the end of this video and then we'll dive into those scenarios. What's up, guys? So in this video, we're going to do a deep dive on the World Economic Forum, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and the Great Reset. I don't know if you've heard about this before, but this is some big stuff. It's going to open your eyes up to this whole scheme going on behind the scenes. So first off, what is the World Economic Forum, right? So it is an international non-governmental and lobbying organization in Geneva, Switzerland. It was founded January 24th, 1971 by Klaus Schwab. The foundation, which is mostly funded by its 1,000 member companies, typically global enterprises with more than $5 billion US dollars in turnover, as well as public subsidies, views its own mission as improving the state of the world by engaging business, political, academic, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. Big stuff. So it's a group consisting of $5 billion plus companies, 1,000 of them, that are coming up with ways and agendas to shape and improve the political, business, academic, and society off of their agendas. So let's see here. The meeting brings together some 3,000 paying members and selected participants, among which are business leaders, political leaders, economists, celebrities, and journalists, for up to 5 days to discuss global issues across 500 sessions. So the World Economic Forum and its annual meeting are criticized regarding the public cost of security while having amassed several hundred million Swiss francs in reserves, not paying federal taxes, the formation of a wealthy global elite without attachment to the broader societies, undemocratic decision processes, gender issues, a lack of financial transparency. So basically, yeah, it's a bunch of these wealthy global elites coming together, talking about how they're going to shape the future based off of their agenda in all aspects of life. So now we have from the World Economic Forum, the Fourth Industrial Revolution. What does it mean and how do we respond? Before I jump into that, I want to go over some of the members of the World Economic Forum here. So we have a bunch of companies. So you can go through here, A to B to C, all the way through Z. You got Accenture, Amazon, AARP. You got Alibaba. There's so many big names in here. I'll go through a couple more just so we can get a good kind of scope around it. BlackRock, one of the top investment money managers in the world. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bloomberg. You got BBVA, Barclays, Bank of China, Bank of America, all these banks, Banco Santander. We got BAE. Let's see what else. We have Chevron, China Union Pay, Circle, Cisco, CVS. We got Citigroup. There's so many. It's like any big company that you could think of, they're there. And then you have R in here. We got Ripple's part of it as well too. So now we're going to jump in to the World Economic Forum, Fourth Industrial Revolution, what it means, how to respond. And we're going to watch this quick video about it. So let's see.
We are wondering what is happening to the world. Everything is changing.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change.
Our bodies will be so high-tech, we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
Inside our own heads is the most complex arrangement of matter in the known universe.
You might ask yourself, can we get to be superhumans?
The original Industrial Revolution was driven by the discovery that you could use steam engines to do all kinds of interesting things.
But that was followed by additional revolutions for electricity and computers and communications technology. We're now in the early stages of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
One of the features of the Fourth Industrial Revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
With the ability to visualize brain activity, for example, through a simple consumer-based EEG device, it gives us access to ourselves in ways that we've never before thought possible. It unlocks the black box that is the brain and enables us to really, truly be able to realize an identity that is aspirational.
There's now a scientific foundation for the effects of mindfulness on the brain, on the genome, on biological aging. And when the human mind does know itself, then you get the potential for a new renaissance that restructures itself in terms of our relationship to life, our relationship to the planet, our relationship to work.
We need a different economic model. And by that, I don't mean capitalism versus communism. What I'm talking about is a shift in the system along the lines of the two big changes that happened in the 20th century, Keynesianism, with a much greater focus on health and education and the role of government working with business, and then a reaction against that in late century to neoliberalism, where the focus was on free markets, freedom of the individual, and getting governments out of the way. We need to shift to a new system that will allow us to meet the basic needs of every human on the planet, that will live within planetary means, that will be fairer, and will be focused as its key goal, not on growth per se, but on maximizing human well-being. History tells us that a values shift is triggered by creation of a new story about how we want to live.
I see the circular economy as something which fits very closely with mankind's goal to be innovative and creative and to always progress. We can use asset tracking, we can use IT, we can use 3D printing to enable this different economic model to recover materials, feed them back into the economy, and really to decouple growth from the resource constraints we have.
The reason we live in cities is not different today than it was 10,000 years ago. Even if we have got networks connecting us, we still want to have places where we meet in person. So this means the place where we work and the place where we live are much closer to each other. A city where we don't need to have big supply chains in order to produce things, where many things can be sourced locally thanks to 3D printing and robotics. So if we're able to do something to transform cities, to make them more efficient, then the impact can be huge.
Think about the prospect of getting rid of plastics. We must not only be inspired or informed by nature, but actually use natural organisms with which to design products and building parts. Only instead of varying material properties, we're varying biological functionality.
Design is critical today because it's the first signal of human intention. So the question of adding quality to quantity, it isn't a matter of simply circulating things that are potentially toxic. It's circulating things that are safe and healthy for all generations. So the goal is no longer, I want to be less bad, less monotonous, less unsafe, less unjust. It's really about a diverse, safe, healthy, and just world with clean air, clean water, clean soil, clean energy.
Together we're fighting to preserve our fragile climate from irreversible damage and devastation of unthinkable proportions.
If we think about the original Industrial Revolution, it was an energy revolution. I like to think of it as a kind of bookending of a period in human history during which we used fossil fuels, and it worked very well for us for a long time. But now we have to bring that to an end. We have energy technologies that can power our civilization: solar, wind, biomass. So then the question is, well, how do we get good integration? Maybe the wind is blowing in Denmark, the sun is shining in Germany, and now you can move that electricity through an integrated grid. You can supply energy to everyone who needs it, and you can supply energy at all times.
Walking around, you do see different stuff, as far as like the body marriage line. They use a lot of things that help them lift up and move things to the car. You just sit there and, program something, and it has its own set mind to go ahead and do everything. And then as humans, we just come in and take the extra steps to help the technology.
It's not the cure-all for everything. There's definitely a lot of things where people perform the operation better, but certainly for the right applications, robotics are a huge improvement for the process.
The prediction of 5 million jobs lost by 2020 to technology is serious, but it's not the main question. Construction, manufacturing, services, public health and education, these industries will still exist. The main question is, what will be the future of work? How will we define work? How will we share the wealth?
From the viewpoint of the labor or jobs, now we really need new education or new training.
We're working with World in Motion and First Robotics, trying to encourage students from third grade all the way up through the end of high school. We had students make sailboats, and then we had them race them, and so they could see how quickly they could move. And they immediately went back and started to say, "Oh, I saw what happened. I'm going to go change this or that." And that was third graders.
I just given a prize to a kid of 18 years old that has discovered something really very, very unique. Came up with how to get better productivity and better yields for seeds of corn. And so he basically came with the idea that if you would perforate these seeds, you would get more food. And you think about it and say, but he didn't go to university. So how does he get all that knowledge? And he told me, I've been watching YouTube since the age of 12, and I'm so interested that I've seen everything about it. I've read everything about it. The world is really open to learning. The thing is, how do you give the incentive to your kids to do that?
It's this ability of digital technology to change outcomes, to truly empower people all over the world that can create a more equitable growth, because I think the world needs that.
Fourth industrial revolution has the potential to make inequalities visible and to make them less acceptable in the future, and hopefully to gather and garner political support to take the necessary decision to reduce the gap.
Humans have always been using tools, but because of the recent advances in technology, we're beginning to have machines that can augment us in all sorts of interesting ways.
I was the first person in the world to be able to voluntarily move my legs while stepping in a robot, by exciting the nervous system using electrical stimulators directly onto the spine. We believe that a cure will be possible if enough of the right people have the will to fast track a cure for paralysis.
We take two things from the patients.
First, we take a three-dimensional X-ray and we extract the three-dimensional data out of that so we can make a perfectly shaped puzzle piece. And then we also take a sample of fat tissue from the patient so that we can extract the stem cells out of those. And we use those stem cells with this three-dimensional scaffold that we fabricate. And after 3 weeks, we have a piece of living bone that's ready for implantation.
Being able to use genome editing to understand the genetic changes that lead to cancer, and technologies like drug delivery, getting molecules into particular types of cells. There's a lot of excitement about being able to move much more quickly on this disease.
One of the things that I think is so essential to free and open societies is freedom of thought. And up until now, the conversation we've been having is around freedom of speech. Once we can access people's thoughts and access people's emotion, we have to create a space that enables people to think freely, to think divergent thoughts, to think creative thoughts. And in a society where people fear having those thoughts, the likelihood of being able to enjoy progress is significantly diminished.
We need to take responsibility at every level of society, from the individual and the personal to the institutional to the global, to adapt to these technological challenges and changes, which are redefining what it means to be human, what it means to work, what it means to be completely embedded in this world.
People always ask me if I'm an optimist or a pessimist. The technology exists, but how do we get it and implement it at the scale we need at a price that people around the world can afford?
Even though we have everyday problems we have to solve, we have to find a way to lay the foundations for the innovations of tomorrow.
So that's the World Economic Forum, Fourth Industrial Revolution. So now I'm going to dive into this article about what it means and how to respond. So this was back all the way January 2016. So we stand on the brink of a technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. In its scale, scope, and complexity, the transformation will be unlike anything humankind has experienced before. We do not yet know just how it will unfold, but one thing is clear. The response to it must be integrated and comprehensive, involving all stakeholders of the global polity, from the public and private sectors to academia and civil society. The first industrial revolution used water and steam power to mechanize production. The second used electric power to create mass production. The third used electronics and information technology to automate production. Now a fourth industrial revolution is building on the third, the digital revolution that has been occurring since the middle of the last century. It is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. Crazy. So they're talking about how the fourth industrial revolution will be a fusion of technologies between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. So there are 3 reasons why today's transformations represent not merely a prolongation of the third industrial revolution, but rather the arrival of a fourth and distinct one: velocity, scope, and systems impact. The speed of current breakthroughs has no historical precedent. When compared with previous industrial revolutions, the fourth is evolving at an exponential. Remember I told you it was the exponential age and how this is the greatest opportunity of our lifetime? They're even saying it will be unlike anything humankind has experienced before, and about how it's evolving at an exponential rather than linear pace. So I don't say this stuff for no reason. They're laying it out for us. So moreover, it is disrupting almost every industry in every country, and the breadth and depth of these changes herald the transformation of entire systems, production, management, and governance. The possibilities of billions of people connected by mobile devices with unprecedented processing power, storage capacity, and access to knowledge are unlimited. These possibilities will be multiplied by emerging technology breakthroughs in fields such as artificial intelligence, robotics, the Internet of Things, autonomous vehicles, 3D printing, nanotechnology, biotechnology, material science, energy storage, and quantum computing. So if you're looking at all right, what are some companies that I can invest in now, say on the stock market, that will give me a good return? Find ones that are in artificial intelligence, robotics, Internet of Things, and any of these ones here, because this is the revolution that we're headed to, and it's happening. And if you can catch like the biggest company of one of these fields now before it matures and these things really play out, then that will be a great opportunity as well too. So already artificial intelligence is all around us, from self-driving cars and drones to virtual assistants and software that translate or invest. Impressive progress has been made in AI in recent years, driven by exponential increases in computing power and by the availability of vast amounts of data, from software used to discover new drugs to algorithms used to predict our cultural interests. Digital fabrication technologies, meanwhile, are interacting with the biological world on a daily basis. Engineers, designers, and architects are combining computational design, additive manufacturing, materials engineering, and synthetic biology to pioneer a symbiosis between microorganisms, our bodies, and the products we consume, and even the buildings we inhabit. Crazy stuff they're talking about. So, challenges and opportunities. Let me just see how much we got here. I'll leave this article in the description as well too, if you wanted to go and read the whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of skim through here and see if there's anything that sticks out. So in the future, I mean, like the revolutions that preceded it, the fourth industrial revolution has the potential to raise global income levels and improve the quality of life for populations around the world. To date, those who have gained the most from it have been consumers able to afford and access the digital world. Technology has made possible new products and services that increase the efficiency and pleasure of our personal lives. Ordering a cab, booking a flight, buying a product, making a payment, listening to music, watching a film, or playing a game, any of these now can be done remotely. So let's see here. So I'll read this one right here. Shaping the future. Neither technology nor the disruption that comes with it is an exogenous force over which humans have no control. All of us are responsible for guiding its evolution and the decisions we make on a daily basis as citizens, consumers, and investors. We should thus grasp the opportunity and power we have to shape the fourth industrial revolution and direct it toward a future that reflects our common objectives and values. To do this, however, we must develop a comprehensive and globally shared view of how technology is affecting our lives and reshaping our economic, social, cultural, and human environments. There has never been a time of greater promise or one of greater potential peril. Today's decision makers, however, are too often trapped in traditional linear thinking or too absorbed by the multiple crises demanding their attention to think strategically about the forces of disruption and innovation shaping our future. In the end, it all comes down to people and values. We need to shape a future that works for all of us by putting people first and empowering them. This is crazy. In its most pessimistic, dehumanized form, the fourth industrial revolution may indeed have the potential to robotize humanity and thus deprive us of our heart and soul. Dude, that is nuts. But as a complement to the best parts of human nature, creativity, empathy, stewardship, it can also lift humanity into a new collective and moral consciousness based on a shared sense of destiny. It is incumbent on all of us to make sure the latter prevails. Crazy stuff. For the worst case scenario, it has the potential to robotize humanity and deprive us of our heart and soul. I mean, that's nuts. And then, in its best case scenario, lift humanity into a new collective and moral consciousness based on a shared sense of destiny. So crazy stuff. But all right. So now we'll go into this fourth industrial revolution kind of pictogram diagram here. And you can see all the things that they're planning on to make changes in. So all around here, you got social justice, gender equality, zero hunger, internet governance, all these things, drones, Green New Deals, taxes, sustainable development. COVID-19 was in here. That's crazy. If this was built in 2016 and COVID-19 was right there, 3D printing, biotechnology, quantum computing, future computing. So all of this stuff. And then you can click on the different things to see what is connected to them. And if you notice here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that they're disrupting. So we have blockchain right here. So blockchain, as I go through here, it shows is basically at the center of all of these things. So frontier technologies, blockchain's a part of it. Then you got this one, blockchain's not there. Blockchain's on this one, technology innovation. So 2 out of 3 so far. Then we got ethics and identity, not there. Technology access and inclusion, not there. Agile technology governance, blockchain's there. Agency and trust, blockchain's there. So 4 out of the 3, blockchain is at the core of it. So that just goes to show how important cryptocurrency and blockchain is to this 4th industrial revolution, where they're trying to, what do they call it? Where they're trying to integrate the fusion of technologies between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. So blockchain is at the forefront of it. So that leads me into the next thing. The 4th industrial revolution is, there's an addition to it called the Great Reset. So 4th industrial revolution came out 2016, Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum. And then when COVID-19 happened, they had what's called the Great Reset come out. So this video we're going to watch right now. So they're trying to reset our economy, social, cultural, everything that they talked about in the 4th industrial revolution. Now they changed it as part of a plan for the Great Reset. So they want to switch everything to an entire new system, and they want to reset everything back to square one and build a future based off the mistakes that we made in the past and build a future that is better for us. So let's go to here. So the Great Reset, there's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis. To improve the state of the World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset initiative. So context. The COVID-19 crisis and the political, economic, and social disruption it has caused is fundamentally changing the traditional context for decision making. The inconsistencies, inadequacies, and contradictions of multiple systems, from health, financial, to energy and education, are more exposed than ever amidst the global context of concern for lives, livelihood, and the planet. Leaders find themselves at a historic crossroads, managing short-term pressures against medium and long-term uncertainties. So everything, health, financial, energy, and educational systems, they want to reset. So the opportunity, As we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of a global commons. Drawing from the vision and vast expertise of the leaders engaged across the forum's communities, the Great Reset Initiative has a set of dimensions to build a new social contract that honors the dignity of every human being. So it all sounds like all good. You know, they want to honor the dignity of every human being. But you saw what that said with the fourth industrial revolution about the worst case scenario depriving us of our heart and soul. So a little sketchy there. But our partners, so I already laid out all the partners for you, and this is all going to happen by 2030. This will be implemented. The Great Reset will be in plan, the fourth industrial revolution. And yeah, so now we'll go to, let's see here. Yeah, so the Great Reset is something that they're working on. And you could go to like a Prime Minister of Canada. Great Reset. And I remember watching a YouTube video or like a kind of thing that he did where he says we need to reset our economy. So right here.
The last 6 months have laid bare fundamental gaps and inequities within our societies and between them.
He tells
climate change,
So he tells the United Nations conference that the pandemic provided an opportunity for a reset. So they're all in on it. They're all in on it. They want to reset everything. And I have a strong feeling that the reset will be the cause, maybe a lot of financial opportunity, but a lot of financial devastation. So when they reset the economies on, you know, the financial system, they reset the health system, they reset everything, there's going to be implications to that are not in our favor, but we know what they're up to because we can look here and we can see all the things that they're trying to do. And then we can look at the fourth industrial revolution, and then we can follow along with their moves and see what they're talking about. And we can have the opportunity to benefit and profit off of what they are trying to implement in our world. And we're talking about the top companies, top corporations, top governments, top political leaders, top CEOs. Even in that video, the fourth industrial revolution one, Leonardo DiCaprio was there. So all of them are tied up with this. And I just wanted to put it on your radar about the World Economic Forum, the fourth industrial revolution agenda, the Great Reset, and all their partners and everything, because the next annual conference is happening January 2022. So there's going to be something big drop there, because every single time there is, like how the World Economic Forum released in the January 2020 annual conference right here, January 2020, Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Central Bank Digital Currency Policymaker Toolkit. And then you know in here, I showed it many times, you go to find, you could type in XRP, the crypto, and you can see that it is the most relevant for wholesale CBDC systems and crypto assets designed for inter or intra-bank payments and settlements, JPM coin and XRP. Then you have like Bitcoin and Ethereum here as well too, globally available cryptocurrencies. Talks about Tether, USDC, and all those things. So yeah, we got their number. So that's it for this video. And then I'm going to do a deep dive on a couple other coins. So I'll see you in there.